Happy Final Fantasy release week. We have the official launch just a couple of days ago, depending on when you're watching this. Done with pre-release, official launches here, and let the craziness ensue. Usually we see prices drop post-release. Not so fast, my friend. This time we are going to the moon. Retirement secured if you bought Final Fantasy collector boxes at anything reasonable prior to release. I know I did a little retail hunting this week at some Walmarts and Targets, trying to find the individual collector packs that are they're like 45 to 55 bucks. Retail, I was hoping to get just even a couple of those to potentially record opening up, but I couldn't find it anywhere. Every Walmart, most of the Walmarts had been stocked. The reason I could tell is because they had Final Fantasy Play Booster packs sleeved on the shelf, and anything worthwhile, commander decks gone, collector packs gone, all that stuff was wiped out. So I was not able to track any down. I had a local card show today. I thought maybe some of the retail flippers would have a few there if I had to pay the iron price on a couple. So be it, just to rip a couple of packs. But nobody there had it either. It's pretty tough to get good retail product around me. I live in the Northeast Ohio region, and most of the Walmarts, Targets, Myers, etc., people know the restock times. Everything gets wiped out within seconds of it ending up on the shelf. It's nearly impossible to stumble into a retail drop that there are not people there ready to clear the shelf. It is so hard to find product, retail product anyway. But let's run through some Final Fantasy prices real quick, as we are a full day and a half into release. Playbox is sitting around $188. We'll see if the rumors are true that there's not going to be any more of these coming to market for a while. There will be more coming to market. The trick is going to be, how quickly do they come to market? Do they get to market fast enough that prices don't climb to an insane number prior to that happening? We'll see. That's the big question right now. And depending on which YouTube content creator you'll listen to, I've heard both sides. I've heard some say, oh, it's going to be months, we're going to the moon. I've heard others say it is coming quickly. Generally speaking, though, playboxes should be printed for a really long time. I would not necessarily sweat these. Over time, demand will probably lessen to a degree until they eventually go out of print, and then, all that jazz. But they're going to print these for a while, so I wouldn't go full FOMO on the play boxes. Commander decks. The regular version commander decks. The set is currently at $320. I expect this to kind of follow the Lord of the Rings path. These, I got mine for, I think, $250 for a set. These will be printed again. These will be printed multiple times. But same thing that we just talked about with play boosters. The question is how quick do the reprints / restocks come, and how high do the prices get in between those times? My set of commander decks that I have for regular, if they go way up in price, I will probably flip them, because I know that they're going to end up printing more of these things and the prices will come back down. Once again, if you look at the Lord of the Rings commander deck sets, those are a perfect example. Those came out after some time, they shot way up, and then they just recently, even, and that set's been out for a while, got a massive reprint of commander decks that have basically completely taken it back down to MSRP again. So just keep that in mind with the commander decks. There might actually be some short-term flip opportunity if it takes a while for them to get the next wave out. Collector booster boxes. Whew. We are off and running, folks. Release happened right here, and they shot straight up. Now, Magic's a little different because you have the pre-release stuff, so things get out there about a week early. But TCG Player opened the floodgates this week, and the price actually went up. We are currently sitting at $830 for a Final Fantasy Collector Booster Box. I have one of these that I picked up at my local LGS for, I think it was either $420 or $440. I forget the exact price. Glad I didn't open it. That's all I have to say. I guess we're sitting on that puppy sealed for a while. You know, Rudy and many others have said this thing's going to $1,000 whew, plus in the short term. And I could totally see that happening. We're at 8:30 already, and these things, the demand is just absolutely crazy for these. There's only, which this is actually kind of crazy too, and I don't like to put a ton of stock into this number because there's always more sitting out there that can come to market, but only 263 currently listed. And some of that is going to be some nonsense listings like you see here, but cheapest available in the $830 range. I thought about looking at some of the singles, but it's still too soon. We need to let those things breathe for a little bit to see how the single prices perform. I think the Cloud Surge foils sitting at about $300. That's one of the bigger chases. The Yuna is very popular as well in the Surge foil. And we'll have to see what singles do. Like I said, I did a video a couple of days ago, maybe a week ago, about maybe this is the Magic set that breaks the mold, that playability does not matter. Collectability matters more than anything else. Just given the IP that Final Fantasy brings to the table and how much crossover demand there is. These are the individual collector booster packs. So if you see these laying around, there is only one pack in this box. I saw multiple listings on Facebook groups this week of people thinking these were collector booster boxes, not just a collector booster pack. The artwork is completely different. Keep that in mind. These are currently going for about $70. We'll see where these things end up settling in at. Like I said, you will find these at a lot of the big box retailers. Last but not least, my set of these have not arrived yet. I ordered these through Amazon. I believe they get here in about the next 24 to 48 hours. Final Fantasy Commander Collector Editions, currently going for $800, and what is that? There's $25 shipping on there. Basically almost $900. These we will not be seeing reprints on. This is it. This is all that there is, and these things are probably going to go crazy. They were pre-selling for over $1,100. They have come down, and I'm using quotes on that heavily, to just under $900. And as you can see, they're already starting to bounce back up ever so slightly from that release day bottom out. I expect these to continue to climb, and I would not be surprised at all if these things got right back up over $1,000. I paid $600 for mine over on the old Amazon machine back when they pre-released months and months and months ago. Glad that I locked in at least one set of these bad boys way back when. These are, the entire decks are Surge foil. That's why everyone goes crazy for them. Whether that's correct or not, I have no idea. I don't really have a huge attachment to the Commander decks. They're all well and good. I don't play physical Magic very often, and I haven't played Commander in God knows how long. I have spent, I will say, a lot of time on MTG Arena this week doing drafts over there of Final Fantasy play booster drafts left, right, and center. I think I've already ran through about 10 or 15 of those things. Just, do one, play, and just keep playing them until you lose your 3 games or whatever. But it feels like it's an okay set to draft. Maybe it's better in Standard or Commander. And I am by no means a Magic the Gathering play expert at all, but I've had a lot of fun playing it. Just the artwork on this set is just absolutely fantastic. I am looking forward to chasing some of the singles, but I am going to continue to remain patient, at least for a little bit, see if they slightly start to drop off as we go over the next week or two, and see what happens with singles before I dive into that market. But I definitely want to chase some of those Surge foils from some of the Final Fantasy games and kind of start there and build my way out. But how was Final Fantasy release week for you? Were you able to find any product in stores, whether LGSs and or big box? Were you able to snag anything, either physical drops or online? What are you hunting for if you have not found it yet? Curious for those thoughts and any others that you have in the comments down below. We will catch you boys and girls on the next one. Peace.